When we ask, what is money? The first thing that comes to mind is usually a wallet. Inside, we might find a round coin, maybe a paper banknote, or a credit card. Or, most simply, we pick up our phone, open a mobile app, and look at the numbers on the screen. But which of these is really money? All of them? None of them. To understand the answer, let me take you back in time. In school history classes, we are taught that money replaced barter. This is partly true, but a very incomplete explanation. So why exactly were people searching for an alternative to barter? For example, let's say I have a sheep and the person in front of me has a cow. I want to trade my sheep for their cow. But the other person might say, your sheep is not equal to my cow. Maybe they think one cow is worth 2 sheep, while I think 1 sheep is equal to 1 cow. In other words, our measures of value are different. To equalize this difference, people needed a common medium of exchange. An intermediary object was necessary to facilitate trade, and this medium had to be something accepted and valued by everyone. That's why gold and silver came to the forefront. With their functionality and rarity, these materials were accepted and valued by all. On top of that, being measurable, portable, and durable made them excellent tools of exchange, and they were used for centuries. If you were expecting me to say, until coins and paper appeared, you're mistaken. They already existed, but were not used as money. Even though they were easier to carry, less risky, and easier to measure, they were still not adopted. But why? Why did this change happen so late? Because back then, people did not yet have the answer to a question. The same question you also struggle with. What is money? In one word, money is faith. Money is exactly what you believe it to be. And the rulers of the time, realizing this truth, ask themselves, why should we look for something already accepted when we can simply make something new accepted? All they had to do was provide assurance. And that's what they did. For practical reasons, paper money that had once represented gold was declared no longer a mere representation, but valuable on its own. They announced that taxes could be collected in paper, that debts could be paid in paper. After all, they were the state, and people trusted them. And what people trusted, they believed in. In short, they believed paper money was valuable, and so paper money gained value. The state does not control money. The state controls faith, and your faith controls the value of money. Even today, this is still true. The countries whose money is valuable are also those most believed in by investors for their success in economic stability. But in the very recent past, something different appeared: cryptocurrencies. These currencies were not backed by a state. So why did people value them? Because now, thanks to social media and the internet, an enormous number of people could build consensus. If enough people believe something is valuable, then it really becomes valuable. And for that, there was no need for a state guarantee. That's why cryptocurrencies experienced such a huge rise. But of course, this also carried risks. Unlike state-backed money, there was no guarantee. A single negative statement from a celebrity could wipe out the value of a cryptocurrency overnight, because unlike state money, it was much easier to manipulate people's faith in a cryptocurrency. Still, in the future, cryptocurrencies seem likely to become even more important. But one thing will not change: the single truth that has never changed since the beginning. Money is faith.